The golden chandeliers of the Whitmore estate sparkled brighter than ever that evening. Guests in tailored tuxedos and shimmering gowns filled the ballroom, sipping champagne and murmuring about wealth, power, and influence. At the center of it all stood Charles Whitmore, a millionaire known less for his brilliance and more for his arrogance. He loved attention, thrived on mockery, and had a cruel habit of making people the punchline of his so-called harmless jokes. That night his joke had a name. Her name was Maria. Maria was a cleaning lady, a woman with worn hands, a tired back, and a job scrubbing the floors of offices too high above the city for her to ever imagine belonging. Charles had once seen her mopping the marble lobby of his corporate tower, humming a hymn under her breath as if music could wipe away the pain of her life. Something about her poise had irritated him. "Imagine this woman at one of my parties," he sneered to his friends, laughter bubbling in his throat. "Dressed like a queen when she's nothing more than a maid." The idea became his new amusement. So he had his assistant deliver an invitation, not with sincerity, but with mockery hidden behind every word. Formal attire required. The invitation read, as if daring her to show up. The guests knew about it. Everyone did. They whispered eagerly, waiting for the grand reveal. The moment when the Millionaire's maid guest would arrive and provide them with something to laugh at over champagne. The evening dragged on, and Charles grew impatient. "Maybe she's too smart to show up," one guest joked, adjusting his cufflinks. "Or too poor to afford a dress." Another smirked. Then the room shifted. A hush swept across the ballroom as the doors opened. The air grew still, as though time itself paused to watch. And there she was, Maria. She didn't arrive in rags, nor in some awkward, borrowed dress that screamed out of place. No, she walked in like she belonged there, like royalty returning to her palace. Her gown shimmered in deep emerald silk, flowing effortlessly with every step. A delicate necklace rested against her collarbone, glowing faintly under the chandelier's light. Her hair was styled perfectly, framing a face that carried both dignity and quiet strength. But it wasn't the clothes. It was her presence. Every step she took spoke of resilience. Every glance reminded them she had seen harder days, and yet she carried herself with grace. She wasn't just entering a party. She was rewriting the script. Gasps echoed around the room. Someone dropped their glass. The whispers turned into stunned silence. Charles, for the first time in a long time, lost his words. Maria stopped just a few feet from him, her eyes calm, her smile steady. "Thank you for the invitation, Mr. Whitmore," she said, her voice carrying across the stunned crowd. The words weren't bitter. They weren't sharp. They were gracious, as if she had been born to walk into such a room. And then something unexpected happened. One of the older women in the crowd, a philanthropist known for her strict disdain of pretension, stepped forward. "My dear, you look radiant," she said warmly, taking Maria's hand. That one gesture changed everything. Soon, others began to gather around Maria, asking about her gown, complimenting her poise. What none of them knew was that the dress had been a gift, stitched carefully by her sister, who was a seamstress. The necklace wasn't from a jewelry store, but a keepsake from her late mother. Every piece she wore carried a story of love and sacrifice, not price tags. Charles fumed quietly, his plan unraveling before his eyes. This wasn't supposed to happen. The crowd wasn't supposed to admire her. They were supposed to laugh. But the more Maria spoke, the more people listened. She didn't brag or pretend. Instead, she shared glimpses of her real life, raising 2 children on her own, working nights to put food on the table, cleaning offices while dreaming of sending her daughter to college. And the guests, people used to luxury and abundance, found themselves humbled by her quiet strength. Then came the turning point. One of the guests, a respected professor, asked casually, "Maria, have you always carried yourself with such confidence? You walk like a queen." Mariah chuckled softly, shaking her head. I walk like a survivor, she replied. When you've been overlooked long enough, you learn to stand tall, even when no one's watching. The room fell silent again. Even Charles shifted uncomfortably, as though her words pierced something inside him he'd long buried. And then, the unexpected twist. Among the crowd was a woman named Eleanor, a board member of a prestigious charity. She leaned closer to Mariah and whispered, "Would you ever consider speaking at one of our events? Women need to hear stories like yours." Mariah blinked, stunned. "Me?" she whispered. "Yes, you." The idea rippled through the crowd. Suddenly, the maid who had been invited as a joke was being sought after, admired, respected. Guests who moments ago had expected entertainment now found themselves inspired. But the most shocking moment came when Charles' mother, a woman of elegance and wisdom who rarely approved of her son's antics, stepped forward. She looked Charles square in the eyes, her voice sharp. "Shame on you," she said. "To mock a woman like this. Do you even see her?" The millionaire swallowed hard, but words failed him. His mother then turned to Mariah and bowed her head ever so slightly. "My dear, you are welcome in this home any time." The ballroom erupted with applause. Mariah stood, tears threatening to fall, her heart pounding with emotions she had long suppressed. For years, she had been invisible, passed by, dismissed. But tonight she stood in a room filled with the richest of the rich, and for once, she wasn't the maid. She was the queen. And everyone saw it, even Charles. He looked at her with a mixture of shame and realization, his arrogance cracking under the weight of her grace. He had invited her to mock her. But in doing so, he had revealed his own smallness. And her greatness. The night ended not with laughter at her expense, but with admiration that would ripple through every guest long after they left the ballroom. Mariah walked out the way she had come in. Head high, shoulders back, every step a reminder that dignity doesn't come from money, but from within. And as the limousine door closed behind her, offered by one of the guests who insisted she not take a cab home, the entire estate buzzed with one undeniable truth. The cleaning lady had arrived like a queen. And she had left like one too,